Still good on my side. Keep going.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Sorry it's been a little while. We're gonna jump back in it here today. As you could see at the beginning of the video, we have got our cab off the Harley truck finally got that 6.4 off this thing, and we're gonna go ahead and jump into this today. Nothing super crazy. You can watch the other video if you need guidance on pulling a cab. I made a big long video on that, but just gonna jump into this truck today. Brought brief overview. It was brought up from Florida. He found us on the YouTube, and a previous shop or individual had went ahead and studded this truck, and I think a month later it was already puking and building crazy amounts of coolant pressure. We did do a diag video on it, and he was correct. It was building some insane amounts of pressure in the bottle. But we went ahead and decided that we were going to jump up to some bigger stuff. The turbo is stuck. It's supposed to have brand new Ford injectors in it. It does not. Well, I don't know if it does or does not, but they're already stuck, so I'm going to go ahead and assume that it does not have new injectors in it. So over here, right there, I've got me some 155/30s from Warren and a KC Stage 1 that we're going to be slapping on this unit, and we're going to be restudding it. We're going to go ahead and get the heads off today, get them over to Randy, and let Randy check them out. I don't believe we're going to be able to reuse them. Apparently, the gentleman that did the job prior did ring the heads. So usually when you get into something like that, Randy or another machine shop can't usually re-ring them because the tool wouldn't have been set the exact same way. So when he tries to cut the O-ring groove again, it basically won't, it'll be too big. But we'll see what happens here. We're going to get it yanked off, get him over to Randy today, see if he can do anything with them, and go from there. And then we can go ahead and order gaskets and everything. You guys do not want to order gaskets until you go ahead and get the heads off. I've gone over that kind of briefly. You never know if your truck's had an engine put in it, and you really can never tell if it's got 18 or 20 mil heads on it. So usually I don't like to order head gaskets until we have the heads off the truck and I see what size I need to order. If you're the original owner of your truck, then by all means go for it. But usually you're the second owner, third owner, you have no idea if it's ever had an engine put in it. So we're going to jump on that today and get that ripped off, and really not doing a real big overhaul. So a lot of this stuff I'm going to kind of leave alone. We are getting rid of that stupid IPR oil cooler relocation kit. I'm sure it's a great idea, but there's nothing wrong with factory 6-liter oil coolers. As long as you keep your truck maintained and you put an updated oil cooler in it when you do the job, you never have to worry about it. And then you ain't got to put something stupid like that clogs up the entire engine bay and makes it a bastard to work on. So that's going away, and we're throwing that out the door, putting a factory oil cooler back in it the way it should be. And that's really about it. We're going to go ahead and get the injectors put in it and everything like that, get it studded. One thing that I will tell you that I already caught on to just pulling the cab is this thing's supposed to have ARP studs in it, and you probably can't tell, but those say exotic. So it has exotic head studs in it, and I know some people think that those things are great because they're super cheap, but we don't use those here. We use ARP. One way that you can always tell is ARP engraves the top of their stud. It will always say ARP 2000 or 625 if you have the big studs. So these say exotic, so it has some cheap head studs in it. That could very potentially be our issue. I have heard stories of these things actually, once you torque them and you drive the truck, I've seen multiple accounts of people saying they heard a loud pop, and there'll be a stud just hanging out under the valve cover or bissing, and we'll have to figure out how to get it out of the block. So that's one thing I've noticed. Those are going in the trash as well. We've got a set of ARPs sitting over there for it. I think that's about it. I think I'm going to go ahead and probably put some S&Bs on this thing so that he doesn't have to worry about ever having to have the cab up again for any reason. So I think we'll do that. And obviously we have some stuff we're going to do in the this department. But we're not going to talk about that because if you guys are diesel enthusiasts, you know why we can't talk about that stuff. So we're going to do some cool stuff in that department. But other than that, pretty simple stud job. I'm just going to set y'all up and just kind of start going into it here and see what we find as we go. So we are down to the nitty gritty of it. I've got pretty much everything kind of pulled out of the valley that I want pulled out. And I've started pulling valve covers, as you can see. Got my oil rails out and everything. And I was correct, it does not have Ford injectors in it. I want to go ahead and touch on this real quick because I get a lot of people that get into stuff like this and they're like, hey, I just paid the shop, you know, put brand new injectors in my truck. They come from Ford. I got charged $3,000 and one goes down in like 2-3 weeks, a month, whatever it may be. I'm gonna show you how you can always tell what a Ford injector is and what is not. It won't be on this side, it'll only be on this side. So they told this gentleman that he got 8 brand new Ford injectors, and you can probably just tell right off the rip which ones are cheap and which one is a Ford. Right here is our Ford one. And if you will look here, you can notice one, other than the wires, there's one telltale thing that you can see, and that is this QR code right here. All Ford injectors are going to have that QR code. I'm pretty sure all Warren injectors have it as well. And all Ford and Warren injectors are going to have these kind of, I guess, better looking wires, in my opinion. I think these, if you look at these, they just look extremely cheap. You can just tell. These three right here are not Ford. This one is Ford. I'm not really sure why we would have done that. The other side is completely the cheap ones. I say cheap ones because you can just tell that they're cheap injectors. They probably coming from Advanced. O'Reilly's one of the two. So these are all cheap ones. And as you can see, we have no QR codes. That is one way you can always tell. And another thing is Ford injectors won't have this black plastic right here. It'll be like a tan color, cream color. So there's how you can tell right off the bat. I know that it's kind of a pain to get down to this point and everything, pulling your valve covers and everything with it being in the truck. But just trying to give y'all pointers as I go here. I think this is going to be our failure side right here, our passenger side, because if I remember correctly, he had told me that the guy that did it with the cab on, and I'll just about bet that our studs that are in this vicinity right here are not going to be torqued right, because obviously with the cab down, our heater box is in the way and you can't really get anything up in this area and do it right. And or if they are ringed, I have also seen it where you're trying to feed the head in with the cab on, and what will happen is you'll hit the head or something like that and the O-ring will fall out and you'll never notice it. And a lot of times you can mount the head and everything, the O-ring will be protruding. And I think I don't know, we'll see when we get into it here. We're continuing on, but I wanted to take a stopping point to go ahead and touch on that real quick on how to identify actual Ford injectors and good quality injectors. So I hate it for them, but we're going to get these things out of here, send them back to Warren for cores. I've got my Valley the way I want it and everything. I'll go ahead and probably replace this pump if he wants to do it. I don't believe it's had one ever put in it in its life, and they are extremely bad for going out. So I'd like to go ahead and take care of that while we're here to this point, and then obviously it's getting a factory Ford oil cooler put back in it. And that's really about it. So we're gonna keep going here. Get everything ripped out the rest of the way, get injectors pulled and boxed up and ready to go back to Warren, and we're gonna get these heads pulled off. All right, guys, another quick tip I wanted to touch on real quick. I cover a lot of this stuff on the cab pull video with the big truck on 40s. So this isn't really super, I'm not going all in depth showing you exactly what to do and everything. This is just really just a, more of a vlog type deal. But real quick tip, if you are doing this, a lot of people don't know this, but I want to kind of save you from getting covered in coolant and making a mess on your floor. So if you look right down here on both sides, I'll grab my flashlight real quick. Right there. If you see that Allen plug right there, that right there, and on our other side here, both are on the back right there. Those right there are your block drains for the coolant. Go ahead and pull those, get you a pan, put up underneath the truck, and what that'll do is when you go ahead and pull those out, that'll save you from when you pull the heads off, you don't take a bath in coolant all over you. That'll go ahead and drain all those passages and everything before you break the seal on the head gasket. But the way I like to do it so that you don't make a mess on the floor is I will pop them loose, screw them out by hand, and then just kind of keep it held up there in the hole and just kind of regulate the pressure that comes out of the hole with, just how far I pull the plug out, and just kind of make my own little nice steady stream down in the pan there. But yeah, just wanted to touch on that real quick, give you a cool little tip. That way, if you are tackling this job yourself, I'll save you getting really mad and covered in coolant. All right, so we're going to go through this together. just because I'm sure already that we're going to find some fun stuff. I've already loosened these two. This one was extremely tight. This one maybe had 50, 60 foot-pounds on it. So we're just going to take them off like we normally would. That was like 50 foot-pounds. What is this? So we tighten the bottom ones real good. That's unacceptable right there. What the hell is this?
What the hell is even that?
Tighten the top ones. I think we forgot a step or something. Well, we tighten that one. Tighten that one. Jesus. Yeah, well. Alright, so just for shits and giggles on this one, I grabbed the torque wrench just to see what some of them break away at. 149 foot-pounds on that one. $171. $118. $173. $159. $139. $64 foot-pounds. $138 foot-pounds. 174 foot-pounds. 127. Beautiful. So just so y'all know, and we're on the same page with stuff, these should be torqued to 210 foot-pounds. I don't know what Exotic's torque is on them, but they should definitely be all over that ballpark range. I'm not really sure what happened here. They are going to move and loosen up a little bit, but not no 64 foot-pounds. I don't really know what transpired during this job, but I'm sure some of the ones over on our passenger side here were worse than 64 foot-pounds. That middle one, this one right there, I mean, that thing was just about loose completely. And this was our side. If you watch our diag video, you can see where the truck running with coolant pressure. You could see where it was actually leaking out of the seam of the head gasket underneath the truck. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and pull these head studs out and get these heads yanked off and get them over to Randall. We've got heads yanked here. Can't really tell anything extraordinary just looking at it. We had some cheap head gaskets on it, not Ford, which I mean, kind of figured anyway. Thought this was going to be our side. It was blown on this side, but our main culprit was going to be on this side in the back. So this hole right here was blown it pretty bad. But yeah, nothing crazy. Heads were supposed to be O-ringed. They are not. So that's just one other thing. So we have no O-rings cut into these heads. Hopefully, which at the same time, you know, it sucks that he paid to have ringed heads put on it, but it might save him a decent chunk of money right now. So we're going to take these to Randy and say, since they're not O-ringed, we can go ahead and salvage them as long as they're not cracked. So if they're not cracked, we'll be in business. Yeah, so that's about it. No O-rings, just cheap head gaskets and some exotic head studs torqued to like 60 foot-pounds. So Yeah, they don't live like that, boys. So we're gonna load these up. I'm gonna take them down there, and next time you see me, I will be slapping them back on when I get them back. All right, we are back in action here. Couple seconds for you, about 2 weeks for me. Our heads are back. We did not have cracked heads, amazingly. Everything was good. Randy said it looked like, I guess the guy that did it previously to us, looks like he didn't even bother taking them to the machine shop prior, so he just hit him with a cookie bit and slapped them back on. So it took quite a bit to get it out, so they ended up needing a valve job and a couple other odds and ends. So they're basically brand new heads, completely done, new valves, everything, the whole 9 yards, as well as O-rings. Nice and wrapped up here. As you can see, nice and pretty and ringed. Gotta love it. Right there, other one. And I just got back and went ahead and I've got our block prepped here. I did not record that, my bad on that one. Just wanted to go ahead and get it ready so I get these heads put on. If you are curious on how I prep my blocks or anything along those lines, I made a separate video on that. You can go back and look. It is on the channel. You'll find it, 6-liter block prep. Go ahead and watch that video if you are curious on how, if you guys are doing this yourself. That's my tried and true way. I think that's the key to this, is the way that I do it in ringed heads, and you don't have to worry about it again. The answer to that is a knife sharpening stone like this. And what we do is I just take it and I'll get me some WD-40, and you just want to take it and you're just going to sit here and spend a decent amount of time just going back and forth, keep a nice even pressure on it. And eventually you'll get to the point where once you're clean, I like to stop every once in a while, and I'll break clean out the block, get all the old WD-40 at it, respray it, and go back at it, and eventually get to the point where the WD-40 doesn't turn dark and black as you're doing that, and that's about as good as you're going to get it. I also like to go through maybe a little bit of Scotch-Brite and just kind of clean up any other little areas that I see, and then hit it with a stone again. But that's my tried and true way. Go back, watch that video if you're curious. Super easy stuff, super cheap. Do not cookie wheel this block. You will regret it because you're going to be doing the job again. But yep, nice and prepped here. We are ready to go. Both sides are good, and we are ready for action here. Got a nice pile of parts over here for him. Go over and go through all that, just so y'all are up to speed with what needs to be done on this job. OEM gaskets. I'm very strict on this stuff, guys. I'm really anal about all my gaskets and sensors and everything coming from Ford. So we've got some 18 mil Ford gaskets, also, as well as all our other goods in here. Exhaust manifold gaskets. This is another big thing on this job that you need to be pretty strict about. 6-4 push rods, guys. Once you mill the heads down, it has got to have these. They do not even sell 6-liter push rods anymore. So, let's see if I can get this part number. There you go. There's your part number for your 6-4 push rods. You'll need 16 of them. 100%. I don't care. That needs to be your number one thing that you buy going into this job. You have got to replace those. You will kill a lifter with reusing your push rods. Do not do that. That's a big thing. Intake manifold gaskets. I think I've got a thermostat in here and a couple other odds and ends. High pressure pump gasket, all that good stuff. Then we went ahead and pulled the trigger on some S&B cab mounts. The truck did not really need cab mounts. They look okay, but I mean, we're right here, and I guarantee he'll never have to worry about this again, so why not go ahead and take care of never having to pick the cab up again. So we got cab mounts for it. I've got Warren 155/30 premiums here and a KC Stage 1 Jetfire Turbo we're going to be slapping on it. I think that's about it. I think that's all I got for it. Yeah, we got standpipes. I'm going to go ahead and have to order. Another big thing on this, guys, is standpipes and dummy plugs. If you do not have updated ones, you need to go to Ford and get updated ones, the 12mm Allen plugs. But do not just take them and slap them in from Ford. I know it sucks, but get on XDP and you're going to have to order Alliant Power O-rings, and you're going to have to pull the forward O-rings off and re-ring them with Alliant Power O-rings. If you do not do that, you will be tearing this truck back apart in roughly 2 to 3 weeks because the lower standpipe O-ring is going to fail. I promise you, do not do that. Ford has not fixed that yet, and I have lost my butt on having to warranty those things. So the solution to that is Alliant Power O-rings. So you need to order those. They're sold individually, so you need to get one per side. I actually think that I may have a set sitting here so I can give you a part number. Let's see what we got going on. Yes, I do. All right, here you go. Alliant part number Paul 0028. That is your standpipe and dummy plug O-ring kit. You'll need 2 of those to do each side. It's individually. I think that's it. I think I'm going to go ahead and throw y'all up on the tripod, and I'm going to go ahead and my next step here is we're going to get an M16 tap, and we're going to go through, we're going to blow every single stud hole out and get everything out of the stud holes, and then we're going to take an M16 tap, and I forget what the actual thread count is, but M16, and we're going to go through and we're going to bottom tap every single one of these holes for the studs and just make sure the threads are nice and clean. That's another nice little hack to do. Very, very smart to do that. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to get the studs screwed in by hand, and won't go into a lot of detail on that. I've got a whole separate video that I go very in depth on how I do this. We're going to go ahead, throw studs in, paint pin them, back them off, get the head slapped on, and at that point we are pretty much ready to start torquing heads. So I'm going to go ahead and start doing that, guys. A couple parts I forgot to go over real quick. We have got some nice one-piece up pipes from Bus Performance here. Very nice units right here. I'm pretty happy with those. And then I've got a nice emission compliant exhaust kit there. So yeah, that's what we got, and we're gonna get these heads ready to go on now. So let's get after it, guys. So my bad on that, guys. It's actually gonna be an M14 by 2.0 tap. I don't know where the hell I got M16 from. Sorry about that brain fart. M14 by 2.0 tap. Just gonna go through and bottom tap all my holes here and get all the junk out of the threads, and before we start screwing in studs. So as you can see, we're completely cleaned up here. Got my dowels in. Y'all saw me suck all the holes out after I tapped them. I still like to go back and take just a normal blowgun and blow every single hole out. Get you a rag because a lot of stuff's going to shoot out of the holes. But I just use the damn suction thing because I didn't want to make a big, huge mess, and I just bought that thing, so new toy. Blow all your holes out and everything, and now what we're going to do is I did my final wipe down on the deck here with some brake clean. Make sure everything looks good. Make sure it looks the way you want it. Clean all your holes, all your piston holes out. And next what we're going to do is I've got my lube up here, and I'm going to take a stud and I'm just going to lubricate just a little bit on the actual block threads. And what we're going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to send them home, not send them home, but tighten them all down with my battery ratchet here. And just don't go with like a 3/8 gun or anything. It's a 1/4 inch gun. Just screw them all the way down until the gun stops, and then we'll go back through and I paint pin everything, and then we'll back them off half a turn, and you're good to go ahead and put your head on at that point. For all you Kill Devil fanboys, these are better. Yeah, I said it. I meant it. We got heads on both sides here. Got all our push rods in. As you can see, just like all my other videos I've touched on this, I go ahead and get all my studs hand tightened into the block, and then I will paint pin them and then back them off to where my line is sideways. The reason that I do that, I had to explain this a little bit to another gentleman. I do this, once you start torquing, the studs are going to move. It's not for that. The reason I do that is because I put the rocker box on, and then what I'll do is I will take my Allen bit and a wrench, and I will just slowly start working it down with a wrench before I do my first torque sequence. That kind of makes sure that the studs don't really move as much. So the reason I paint pin them is mostly just to know that I have all of them backed off a turn. And then I'll look at it a little bit as I kind of snug them up a little bit as I'm moving the rocker box on, just to see that they don't move. But once you're finally torqued up to 210 foot-pounds, they're going to move. So you will have some that are in, you know, different spots. You'll have some that are this way, you know, all over the place. So don't worry about that. That is strictly just to make sure that I backed them all off half a turn and they're not bottomed out in the block. Next, we've got all our 6/4 push rods put in. I like to do coppers up. I don't think it really matters. You can do it however you see fit. So yeah, coppers up on all those. Make sure you spray them with a little bit of lube before you stick them in the hole. You know what I mean? I think that's about it. So I'm going to go ahead now and get our rocker boxes thrown into the parts washer and get new gaskets shoved on them. And then we are pretty much ready to rock and roll and get our first torque sequence done. Rocker box is all cleaned up. Got my new gaskets pressed in and everything. Don't forget your valve bridges, push rods, all that jazz before you go putting that on. Some trucks have rocker box bolts. This truck did, so I went ahead and put them in. The way that I like to do this is I'll go ahead and slap the head on, put my upper row head bolts in and snug them up, and then I will go ahead and get my rocker box put on, and I will just kind of work in a cross pattern on our rocker box bolts here and just kind of snug it up. That way you're not cocking it sideways here, because it's going to pull the head up a little bit. So just work it down just like you would the head studs. And then just like I said, all these are paint pinned, and I've gone through and just taken a wrench, 11/16, and held the Allens, the actual stud with your Allen key, it's 3/16, and then just do your normal, basically do a first torque sequence, but just with your wrench. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I'll just snug them down as hard as I can with the wrench. And next thing we'll do is we'll go ahead and get the torque wrench out, and we will start our torque sequence. But same thing on this side. Make sure when you put them in, you put them on the right side, or you're going to have to change the Allen plugs in the back for your fuel rails. But yeah, same jazz on this side, nothing spectacular. One thing I will tell you is go through, and you're going to want to make sure that all your push rods are lined up in the balls of your rocker arms, because when you're torquing that down, if you have one that's off, you're going to bend the push rod. So that's really all the tips that I've got as far as this goes. Just make sure you follow that sequence, get your first torque sequence done. I like to, basically I'll do the first torque sequence on this side, move over to that side, come back and just flip-flop until I get to 210 foot-pounds. And everything from this point forward, I'll probably be on, just throw y'all on the tripod, and we're going to get these 155/30s put in and basically get the truck slapped back together. Like I said, not super crazy informative on this video. This is really just a, more of a vlog type deal. If you want a really in-depth video on how to every nut and bolt go through this entire truck, I have a separate video. Go back and check it out, as well as the block prep if you are curious on that. So here we go. Let's go ahead and get these things torqued on. fully torqued, heads are fully on. Do not forget to do your top row head bolts up there, and I also like to go ahead and torque these. They're like, I think torque spec's like 28 or something on it. I put it at 30. Also, don't be scared to go a little fuzz over on your studs there. 215, 220 is fine. I even like to kind of do that every once in a while. But we're done as far as this goes on the heads. Heads are on and everything. I like to go ahead and just grab an 18 millimeter and a bar and spin this over just to make sure everything is kosher on all our valve train and everything. And like I said, do not forget to make sure all your push rods are lined up. But now what we're going to do is got all his old injectors here. Old injectors, his cheap advanced auto injectors. And we've got some nice Warren Diesel 155/30s here, baby. So we're going to go ahead and get these bad boys ready to go. Get swapped out. Very nice, very nice. Gonna clean all my hold downs up and everything, get them all nice and cleaned up, and gonna go ahead and start getting these nice 155/30s put in the truck and all our old ones boxed up to get sent back for cores. All right, guys, so we got our oil cooler rebuilt here. The lower housing on his was cracked when I pulled our top hat off here. I believe we used the wrong bolts underneath here on our oil cooler previously, so we had chunks of aluminum under here. Thankfully, I had one of these laying around from the wrecked Harley truck, so got that all redone. And his IPR system did come with this nice kind of stainless and really good quality mesh filter right here that goes underneath your oil cooler. So we're going to actually reuse this instead of using the Ford one because you'll never have to worry about that again. It looks like it'll catch a lot of stuff. And another thing I'll tell you right now is that the Ford ones, like the mesh, will blow out if something big passes through and it'll go to the pump. So this is a good thing. We're definitely going to put this back in. But as far as that goes, we have our good quality Ford oil cooler in. You can always tell now because it's international number, USA, and all that good stuff. Whereas now they're stamped Ford Motor Company on them, and they are Dorman products now. So genuine international cooler going in this fine unit here. Ain't got to worry about it ever again. People think that these oil coolers are bad news, but hate to tell you, but the reason your oil cooler is having high temperature or something like that is because you don't maintain your truck. So if you keep your truck maintained, keep your coolant changed and everything like that, you don't have to worry about it. This is a fantastic cooler. So he'll never have to worry about this again. We did end up having to go and pick up a actual standpipe because the IPR has this for this remote. So we're going to slap this on, got a new standpipe, and then it is ready to go back in the truck here. Gonna get our crevice all cleaned up here and everything, and get her slapped in, and then everything from this point is pretty much smooth sailing. We're gonna get our cab mount swapped out and get our nice pretty turbo slapped on now. So it's been a couple days, as you can tell. It's cooled down a lot, and we have broke out the hoodies. So I've pretty much wrapped up here on the Harley truck, about ready to drop the cab. I just wanted to make one final walk around video on everything before I lower it, show everything that we did. I've got everything the way I want it. Only thing left is I'm going to put a blue spring kit on it, a new one, because I went ahead and pulled it off, and our spring here is just all bent to hell. So gonna go ahead and replace that. Got a new one from Ford. Got a new Degas bottle for it, new cap, new belt, and a couple other things. I got to do filters and stuff still while the cab's up, and I believe I got to do some stuff with the tank. But really, other than that, we're pretty much wrapped up here. Walk back here. We got our new KC Stage 1 with a 10 blade in it. That's one of the new Jetfires. We got our one-piece up pipes, very nice. Really like them. They lined up great and everything. Looks like it's got some nice vibrant bellows that they put in, and got our nice stainless steel 4-inch kit put on. I think that's really everything that I didn't touch on. New exhaust manifold gaskets, obviously. I went ahead and I had one of these laying around. I went ahead and cleaned it up. The early models had the stupid flapper and everything, this big old gawky, ugly junk that lays right here. Get rid of that. It doesn't do anything anyway. They're just blank plugs. If you pull the pigtail out, there's no pins. Get rid of that. We throw it away and throw one of the late model horns on it. A lot less crap in there to block airflow. So I had one of those laying around. I cleaned it up, put it on there for him. Went ahead and did not put new glow plugs in it because he is from Florida, and they look like they'd been replaced, and they were Motorcraft, from what I can tell. So didn't replace them. I just went ahead, and it had cheap glow plug harnesses on it. And I just don't really want to worry about it leaking. So I went ahead and we've got new Ford glow plug harnesses on both sides. Just go ahead and upgrade to the 05 up ones. You just get a little bit of extra wire there that you'll have to tuck away. But I mean, it's a lot better than dealing with the metal glow plug harness that likes to break, and then you got to deal with it. And then on our exhaust, I've got it pretty much finished up. Just a lot easier with the cab up. See everything, a lot more light and everything under there. But I'll tell you right now, when you're doing this, this right here, this joint is a pain in the butt. So on this clamp right here, send that thing home. Do not sit there and just tighten it with a ratchet or anything. Get the big gun and send it to meet the Lord. Because this thing will almost always, I don't care how tight you get that with a ratchet, this thing will always slide down. And when it slides down, it comes down, hits this right here, and vibrates the entire truck. And I cannot stand that. I cannot stand a truck that vibrates from the exhaust. So got that all tied up. It is kind of a pain to get it kind of gapped there. You're not going to get a lot of room right there between the dipstick tube and this transmission line right there. So it's kind of takes a little bit to finagle it and everything like that. Just get it where you want it and then singe that down. And then got everything else the way that I want it. Nice and tidied up there. And come back here and show you. And got his tip on there the way that I like it and everything. He can play with that if he doesn't like it. Went ahead and I also trim the inside pipe there. I don't like it when the pipe sticks out. So went ahead and trimmed that up. And yeah, another thing on this is kind of a pain to get that to clear the shock without rubbing. I'm actually going to get under here and show you real quick. So to get that to not rub, it takes a lot of time to mess around with it. And I'll show you another trick, like, because they like to rub right there. So another trick I like to do is just, you're not going to get much room, but where it's not just buried up against that thing, go ahead and get an exhaust, just like a little worm clamp. And I like to go ahead and put it on this hanger right here. Where I want it, where it can't suck back through this right there, so you can, it's nice and tight. But other than that, I think it come out pretty good. Yeah. I'll get out here and show you what else we were doing. Here's the rest of our stuff. I'm gonna slap on real quick, and then I've also got our S&B cab mounts put on. So we're pretty much ready to drop the cab, guys. Cab is down. I'll go ahead and show y'all. Everything's tidied up, tightened up. S&B cab mounts are in, the whole shebang. I got a new Degas bottle and everything over there, and our Caterpillar coolant. But I'm gonna get the truck pulled out, fired up now, and get it pulled out while we wait. That way I can use my lift. Like I said, I got my Caterpillar coolant. For those that are curious, this is the stuff that I use in all of my trucks that get this extent of work. There's your part number right there for your Caterpillar dealer, 238-8648. That is 50/50 stuff right there, so you ain't got to worry about getting distilled water and all that jazz. Usually when you do a job like this, usually takes about 4 gallons or so. I like to get 5, especially with the fresh oil cooler and all that good jazz. And we also drain the block and suck pretty much everything out of every coolant passage. That way it has fresh coolant going in it. This is the oil that I run in all of them. Some Schaefer's right here, 1540. All of our trucks that get Warren injectors, they all are very strictly maintained with Schaefer's oil every 5,000 miles for warranty purposes. And I also like to just go ahead, especially with injectors this expensive, I like to go ahead and do fuel filters at the same exact time. So every 5,000, I know it's expensive, but it's a lot less expensive than putting another $3,000 set of injectors in when they kick your warranty back because there was trash in them. So Schaefer's oil, Caterpillar coolant. I got a brand new Degas bottle and cap there because where that truck was making so much pressure and all that good jazz, I do not want him to get halfway to Florida and that old bottle crack or something along those lines. So brand new Ford Degas bottle there. I got our old injectors right there I've got to send back. I've been slacking on that. But yeah, truck's tuned. I've set him up with 2 different tunes there. One that he can tow with, and then an all-out tune. That way he can go goof off and have fun in the truck. I'm going to go ahead and show y'all under the hood here. Obviously, we're still missing the Degas bottle and our radiator hoses because they have not come in yet. But I went ahead to get the truck pulled out, and I went ahead and got it all tidied up here. Got her slicked up like a fresh new penny. He did not want to do any powder coating. It is a little bit expensive, so I understand, it's better to put money in cool stuff, actual go fast, good hard parts. So what I did was I went ahead and took the old pipes, and obviously I stuck them in the parts washer, got them all nice and cleaned up and everything. And then I just went ahead and took my normal metal polish that I use on all my pipes on my white truck here to get them all slicked up. And then I go and get me one of these nice little wheel polishing cones, and I just got them nice and cleaned up, and I just did a little bit of polishing on them things, just make them a little bit better. You won't get them perfect, but I mean I can see my reflection in it, so I'm pretty happy with that. That one turned out pretty good. So pipes are all polished up a little bit there, just to give it a little bit more of a pop under the hood, make it look a little better. Got everything nice and dressed with some plastic protection on everything. Wiped it all down, made it look pretty. Batteries are all slicked up. Yeah, but I'm pretty happy with it. Like I said, we're still waiting on all our hoses and all that good jazz, but I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing fired up and get her pulled out and parked so I can start using my rack, and that'll probably be the wrap of the video. So I'm gonna set you up, we're gonna fire this thing up and see what she sounds like. That's going to be a wrap on the video here. Going to be a little bit longer one. Tried to do a little bit of informative stuff and stuff like that here and there. But if you need like a full detailed video, go back and watch the actual cab pull video that I made. It's like 2 hours long. Watch that. I kind of just grazed over everything on this. I touched on some different stuff, but I'm very happy with how it turned out. Fired right up. Looks really nice. Like I said, we're still waiting on our hoses, and I'll put the Diggus bottle in and everything after that. But I'm not going to drag this out any longer, just to wait on that. So I think it come out really good. I'm going to, once all that stuff comes in, I'm going to go ahead and bring it over to the house and give her a little detailed job there. That way she's nice and slicked up, ready to go home when he comes and picks it up. I think it turned out pretty good. Pretty happy with it. Exhaust all came out nice. It's not crazy loud. I think you'll be pretty happy about it. Yeah, I think it's gonna do it, guys. Got some nice tunes on it. It's running nice. I'll go ahead, once I get everything put on, I'll go drive it, make sure everything's solid before he drives it all the way back to Florida. But that's gonna do it for me on this video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching. You guys are the best. If you have not already, go down, like, subscribe, the whole 9 yards. I really appreciate all you guys that do that. And if y'all need any work done on your 6-liter, don't hesitate to hit me up. Like I said, this guy brought it all the way up from Florida, and I do take very limited side work. So, you know, if I feel like I want to tackle your truck, don't hesitate to shoot me a message on Instagram or something along those lines, and we'll see what we can work out. But like I said, that's going to wrap it up. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.